아리랑 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 진짜 그러다가서 자기네 마음대로 쓰고 싶으면 쓰고 고장이 나서 말하자면 병이 나든가 그러면 버려버리고 갖다 죽여버려.
In the past, we've had a lot of problems rise up and a lot of conflict and a lot of suffering. And a significant part of this problem is the comfort women problem, which was in World War II, where millions of these women had their lives destroyed and violated in their basic human rights. And I think that it's important because the sad part about this is that a lot of their problems are going unnoticed and unrecognized, and therefore these comfort women are becoming forgotten in today's society. And because we are the next generation, I think it's important for us to remember them and make sure that their memory doesn't fade away.
My name is William Chung. I am the president of the Youth Council of Fort Lee. Before I joined the club, my friends and I, we watched a movie called Spirit's Homecoming. After the movie, my friends and I, we wanted to commemorate these women somehow. And we decided on erecting a statue because we wanted people to know the struggles that they endured.
The issue, which a lot of folks wouldn't touch, was then picked up by the Fort Lee Youth Council. Not too many organizations could have put together, but because of their collective passion, their knowledge, the respectful way in which they conduct themselves, their ability to communicate and lobby and persuade is why we're all here today.
That I was not alone in not knowing enough about the atrocities endured by more than 200,000 women and girls from Korea, the Philippines, China, Vietnam, Indonesia, and many other countries. Although none of us can take back what happened to the courageous comfort women survivors, mothers, daughters, and sisters who endured so much violence, we can all do our part to make sure that the sins of the past are not the sins of the present.
However, as their voices have grown louder, their story and bravery has become one of a person taking it upon themselves to claim their own dignity, their own humanity, and their own beauty. This bravery, beauty, and righteousness is what the YCF has long sought to bring to light and honor. These types of measures, such as erecting a monument in the Comfort Women's honor, can serve as a forward step towards reconciliation, towards fully affirming the humanity of the victims by saying, yes, we are aware of what you all went through, and yes, we are here to be always by your side. But starting today, it is time we step up to the plate, remember the trials and tribulations of these women, and say, yes, we see the humanity in you. Yes, we see the beauty in you. Yes, we see the strength in you.
The comfort woman figure is cut into the stone to create a negative space in the circle. The gap in the stone is the gap in history that we're finally acknowledging. History with gaps creates a divided society, and conflict is inevitable. The purpose of this Comfort Woman Memorial is to remind us of how history is a single entity, how we cannot simply ignore the scars in our society. We must heal them. The stone has the outward appearance of a perfect circle, but a deformed hole inside. When we fill in the gap, when we fill in our society with the history we have forgotten, only then can we create a unified circle, a unified society.
The comfort women deserve to be honored and remembered, and we are thrilled that we can fulfill this in our own way through this monument. While we faced some opposition in the creation of this monument, we also found huge amounts of support in our community. Thank you for coming, and we appreciate your support.
But every time I walk down this path, I'm going to look at this monument and I'm going to think of the plight of comfort women. And I think that's exactly why and what the purpose of this monument is. We remind ourselves of history to ensure that things like this never happen again in the future.
The poem is called Stories My Grandmother Tells Me because I personally thought of my own grandmother, and if she was a comfort woman, because she's a first generation Korean American immigrant, and I thought if she was a comfort woman, I wouldn't even be here today, and that's the message I wanted to spread in my poem.
We were never aware of the comfort women or the Japanese imperial sex slaves.
Yeah, I've never learned about comfort women in my history classes. So when I first came upon this topic, I was very intrigued by it, and that's why YCFL was dedicated to this project.
We just try to keep in mind and keep in our hearts that these women really ought to be honored for their strength that they have shown throughout their entire lives. So today's ceremony, just to see it to come to fruition, just to see the entire memorial before our very eyes, was something that really touched each of us, because we each know all the effort that we poured into it, all the time we poured into it.
This was done the way the young people approached this here in Fort Lee. And they made it about the suffering. I think is the right thing to do with these things, because that's what we need to remember.
여기서 사진 찍고 헤어질 게 아니라 두고두고 많은 사람이 지나가면서 우리의 옛 모습을 뜯어보고, 그냥 아직도 눈 감지 못하고, 아까 얘기했지? 20만에서 500명 빼면 19만 9,500명이야. 그 영령은 아직도 눈을 못 감고 있어. 그걸 우리가 기억 안 해주면 누가 기억해?
뉴저지 코스에서 활동하는 학생들이 일본 성노예 피해자 문제를 알 수 있는 기회를 이번에 오픈한다 그래서 너무나도 감개무량합니다. 할머니 역사를 이렇게 알려주고 또 하는 것은 할머니들에게 큰 도움이 됩니다. 그래서 좀 더 많은 기린비가 미국에 세워져야 합니다. 이번 일을 계기로 또 미국에서 또 의미 있는 곳에서 세워진 만큼 이 문제가 전 세계에 알려지고, 또 좀 이곳에 있는 또 나눔해 주시는 할머님들도 더 기운을 받으셔서 오래오래 건강하게 사시는 그런 또 계기가 될 수 있다고 생각합니다. 여러분 학생 여러분들 힘내시고, 여러분들과 함께 연대하는 많은 분들이 있으니까 조금 더 이 일을 시작으로 앞으로도 이 횃불이 계속 꺼지지 않도록 도와주시기 바랍니다. 감사합니다.